All right, you are live, and it's all yours, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll now call this meeting of the Coventry Sewer Subcommittee to order. I will now take attendance. Glenn Skirka, it's me, I'm here. Tony Raposo.
Yeah.
Tony is present. Jen Ludwig.
Here.
Jen is present. I assume Gary is not on the line yet. Not present. And Mike Sakosha is also not on the line and not present. The first order of business is approval of the September 10th.
You missed Greg LaBosse.
Oh, sorry, Greg. You were hiding. Greg LaBosse is present.
Is here. Thank you.
First order of business is approval of the September 10, 2020 meeting minutes. Is there any questions or concerns on the meeting minutes?
No.
Hearing none, I will make the motion to approve as written. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Who was that? Was that Jen that seconded?
You can take Greg. It'll be one of his last hurrahs.
Okay, seconded by Greg. All in favor?
Don't get me excited.
We'll go in order. So Glenn Skirka, I approve. Tony Raposo?
Approve.
Tony Raposo approves. Jen Ludwig?
Approve.
And Greg LaBosse.
Yes, approve.
Okay, ayes have it. Next order of business is the 2021 meeting schedule. Does anyone have any comments on the 2021 meeting schedule? Hearing no comments, I'll make the motion to approve the 2021 meeting schedule as written.
I'll second.
Jen seconds the, so we'll go in order again. Glenn Skirka, I approve. Tony Raposo?
Approve.
Jen Ludwig?
Yes.
Greg LaBosse?
Yes.
Ayes have it. Meeting schedule is approved. Next order of business is 499 and 501 Washington Street sewer tie-in request. Is there anyone online representing 499 and 501 Washington Street?
Yes, I am Pat Walker from Walker Engineering Limited. I don't know if you folks know where this site is. It's on Washington Street over near, I believe it's Clariant or the old Hirsch Chemical. I'm not sure what the business is called. It's where the barber shop was. That's right on the roadway. The elderly couple that lived there, I guess the husband passed away a couple years ago and the wife just passed away earlier this year. So I was contacted by their daughter, who actually now owns the property, because they're looking to sell it. There's an existing 3-bedroom house, as you can see, and then the commercial building in the front. Both of them, it appears, are served by an old cesspool. It's proposed to connect to the sewer. There is a stub provided off the line in Washington Street. It's fairly simple. We filled out the commercial application for number 501, which is the building closer to the road, and just a residential application for the house. And Bob Rose has reviewed it. One of his comments was that the property had to be sold together. There's no thought of dividing it. It's fairly narrow. It's always been one lot anyway, as far as we can tell. There was an issue, I think in 2004 or 2005, Bruce, you can add to it. I guess it appears they had requested an abatement to the sewer assessment for the residential portion. We couldn't find a whole lot of information. It appears that Sheila had approved that way back when. Ms. Ryan has contacted Monique, bear with me, I'm not sure of her last name, the tax collector, related to the abatement that has now been lifted. And she's paying the sewer assessment on the whole property now. And that will go with the sale of the property.
Bruce,
I
have
get it.
you reviewed this application? No,
Yep.
any comments?
No comments.
Okay.
All set.
And West Warwick's done their review?
Yes, just if when a tenant moves into the commercial building, they'll have to reapply.
Okay,
That's all. Yeah.
okay. Does anybody on the board have any concerns or comments about this application? Hearing none, I will make the motion to approve the sewer tie-in according to the resolution of the Coventry Sewer Subcommittee number 2020-04. Whereas after examining the applications, designs, plans, and all of the submitted documentation, the Coventry Sewer Subcommittee recommends that the Town Council approve sewer tie-in application 499 and 501 Washington Street, assesses Lot 56, Lot 8, such that the applicant shall sufficiently comply with all the requirements necessary for the town sewer ordinance and town engineer's review comments. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Greg. I'll now go in order again. Glenn Skirka, I approve. Tony Raposo,
Approve.
Jen,
Approved.
Greg.
Yes.
All right, the ayes have it. Application is approved.
So that'll go to the town council at the end of the month, correct?
Correct.
Is that October 26th? The Monday?
Ed, do you have the date for the council meeting?
I believe the 26th is the correct date, and yes, it would be, as long as I receive the paperwork, it'll be on that agenda.
All right,
That's
the
from
next
you
order,
guys. Okay.
next order of business is 97 Sandy Bottom Road. I required to recuse myself from this application, and since there's not enough people for a quorum to approve this, I will make the motion to table this item until November's meeting. Can I have a second?
Glenn, if you're recusing yourself, someone else should make that motion.
Okay, can someone else make that motion, please?
I make a motion to table this to the next subcommittee meeting.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay. I am considered recused at this point, so motion's been made by Tony. It's been seconded by Greg and Jen.
Approve.
Approved.
Is 3 votes enough? Or do you just let it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Ed, I'm unfamiliar with this. We only have 3 votes to table it.
It may not, that if you don't have enough for an action, it would just, just
Simply
leave it.
simply tabling it, you don't need to have a vote on the table. You've tabled it, and that's the end.
Okay. Considered tabled. All right, next order of business is new business. It's an update on the West Warwick Sewer Subcommittees. Jen, is there anything to update us on?
Yeah, so I do have one item. I'm going to call it a watch item because it's not something we need immediate action on, but maybe we, need some. I think we need to keep our finger on. I'll say it that way. So there's a contract that the West Warwick treatment facility has with Sinagro for how the waste and sludge is removed from their facility, and then the cost that it takes to go to Sinagro. And anything that Sinagro cannot handle ends up going to the landfill. So, how the wet and dry tonnage is separated. The items that go to Sinagro, while there's a contract between the treatment facility, sewer treatment facility and Sinagro, that actually is expiring. And I don't know if they called it a special rate or they had some sort of rate in place, and that contract is expiring. And so based off of kind of a quick and dirty analysis earlier this month by Jim Jeremiah and the superintendent at the facility, at the West Warwick facility, if the contract is not renegotiated and redone, there is the possibility that based off of what we're seeing turned away at the Sinagro facility and being sent to the landfill, which is extremely more expensive per ton, that the incurred cost in 2021 and beyond could be hundreds of thousands of dollars more than budgeted for. And so obviously that has a trickle down effect. If it's going to cost more to send the waste there, ultimately that has to come from somewhere. So I believe the next step on the West Warwick side is they are working on reaching out to Sinagro and figuring out how to either renew the contract or renegotiate the contract. It's being taken between the sewer subcommittee and the town council. This was only discussed last week. So I do have some more follow-ups that I think we're gonna have to figure out the timeline on, but it is a watch item considering the dramatic, I think it's like something around 250 grand more than what's budgeted for in fiscal year 2021. So this is definitely something that could have a trickle effect to, you know, residents here that are paying for those services in the future. I wouldn't call it something that we need to personally get involved with, but something we probably need to understand better. You know, are we on track at renegotiating that contract? How will this, you know, trickle down to usage fees, that type of thing. So, Mr. Chairman, maybe I can ask for some feedback. Is this something, once we get a little more information on, maybe we should pass on to, you know, some of the other folks here? So we already have Ed on. I know we have Greg on. I'm not sure if maybe once we get a little more information, we should pass on if we hear that there's going to be an impact on usage fees. There's no immediate impact. This is just more possibly a future impact.
Ed, did you catch all that?
I did, thank you. Jen, I appreciate that update.
Ed, are you ever in contact in between our meetings with the West Warwick Sewer Authority?
On occasion we are. I haven't been in direct contact in probably a couple of months, but we do on occasion get together. So
how about you, Bruce? Are you in any kind of regular contact with Jeremiah?
With Bob Rose, you know, weekly, but
through
that's
inspections.
That's just for inspections and applications, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I would say, I think Ed, you're probably going to be the point of contact to hear anything about this if it comes from West Warwick. So if you do hear anything, you can, I assume, get in touch with Stephanie. We can add it onto our agenda for whatever meeting it relates to. But we can also come back to it monthly based on our typical review of West Warwick Sewer Subcommittee issues.
I will do that.
Okay. Is that it, Jen?
On this topic, yes.
Okay. Thanks. That's some good info. I hope it not as drastic as you make it sound.
Yeah, so do I.
All right. Moving on to the next order of business is public and subcommittee member comment. I don't see any members of the public online. So is there any comments from the subcommittee members? Hearing none, I will make the motion to adjourn.
Mr. Skirker, if I may, I would just like to congratulate both you and Ms. Ludwig on being reappointed to the sewer subcommittee last night at the council meeting, and congratulations, and
thank you.
And enjoy the work.
We live for this stuff.
I know you do.
Jen, I know looked like you had one more comment before we close the door.
Yeah, so thanks, Ed, for that, for your kind words. Greg, thank you for your kind words. I know Tony and Mike were also mentioned and reappointed to the sewer assessment. I don't know if it's subcommittee or board. I obviously know firsthand that this takes time and effort. It takes offline conversations to have an understanding of what we're doing here. And considering these are all volunteer positions, you know, I definitely affirm the big thank you, because I think from the public side, there may be some people who are more vocal in terms of what they think we should be doing or not. But these are a group of people who have continuously stepped up, raised your hands, showed up to meetings. And I want to say a personal thank you as well. I did have a separate item I wanted to bring up quickly. Just that it's a slightly like an admin issue. So on the Coventry website, you know how there's the calendar that shows what subcommittee meetings and things are going on at the town level? While we're doing everything right in terms of registering our, like when Stephanie registers the meeting and the agenda and everything through the state website, and if you go a little bit on our CoventryRhodeIsland.org website, it takes a couple clicks, but you can get to the agenda for us. I did want to see, and we can do this offline, but I did just want to see, Ed, if we can talk about how we can maybe sync up the calendar so that that calendar on the very first page syncs up with our 2021 schedule to make it easier for residents to dial in.
I spoke to Stephanie about this after you called today, and we're going to get her into the iCompass system, so that will automatically appear on that calendar the way the rest do. Every meeting is still located on the left-hand side under all upcoming meetings that are registered with the Secretary of State. But it would be better and cleaner if you're on the right-hand side on that calendar. So we're gonna try to get that set up for the next meeting, so it'll start showing up over there.
Yep. Thank you. And then I have one last area, Mr. Chairman. So, we don't have to go into discussion. This is more of, I'd like to consider making a point where an item on the next agenda. So last night there were multiple sewer updates from the town council and from Ed. Particularly some items that we've even questioned on this board as well, or this subcommittee. So for example, I know that we've had some open questions in terms of the items that were put out by the Auditor General, which items have been completed versus what do we still have left. It sounds like, Ed, based off of your response to Anne last night, that we do have some sort of list or summary or something that we're working off of. And I would like to ask that the sewer subcommittee be included on whatever review is going to take place with the town council on those items. Is that possible?
It more than likely will be. We can talk about this offline, but yeah, I don't have a problem with that. As long as I am doing what I'm doing.
Okay. All right. Okay, I think that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. Some good comments. Give Ed some more work to do.
Okay.
I have nothing else to do, sir.
Sorry,
It's a thankless job, but you're doing a good job, Ed.
Thank you, sir. By the way, in case you haven't noticed, there are 2 attendees with their hands raised that have requests for comments.
Oh, are they on the phone? Can we see them?
I can bring them in. Give me 2 seconds.
If it is members of the public, bring them in.
Scott, do me a favor, please. State your full name, spell your last name, and also list your address for the record, please.
Absolutely. Am I going to be on camera or just voice?
If you bring yourself in as camera, you can come in as camera at this point.
Oh boy, how do I do that?
In that case, you're just going to be on audio.
All right, I'm just going to do audio. I'm walking around the neighborhood too, if that's okay. Scott Bellovo, 65 Teakwood Drive West, Coventry, Rhode Island.
Spell your last name, please.
Sorry. B as in boy, E-L-I, V as in Victor, E-A-U.
Thank you.
Hi, Scott. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. So it was roughly about 3 weeks ago, maybe give or take a couple of days here. But I was standing in my front yard and Brad and individuals who represented himself as a part of the Reptacus, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, committee came up to me, and it was for running for town council. Sorry, my little boy's in the background. It was running for town council, but more importantly, I said, well, what is it you're going to do for me? And he specifically said, we're going to remove the fees for the sewers. And I said, well, what exactly is the fee? And he said, every Coventry resident is going to be responsible for a $30,000 payment. And I said, on what grounds is that like happening? I mean, that's way more money than the city of Coventry needs for sewers in my eyes. But he said that that's what it would be, and that every resident would get a low interest loan and have the ability to pay it off over numerous years. And that's a concern of mine. But more importantly, I just want to know, is there truth to that? And if so, I mean, Coventry is going to lose a lot of residents.
Hey, maybe. Scott, I can answer your question. So the comments are definitely false. However, there is a slight bit of merit to it. So the way sewers work in the town of Coventry is that if your neighborhood is slotted for sewers, then yes, at some point, sewers would be installed in your neighborhood and you would be responsible for what they call a sewer assessment. And some point after the sewers are installed, your property would be issued an assessment. The assessments range, drastically depending on the use of your property. So as a 3-bedroom home, you could be in the $15,000 range to $20,000, but there's a lot of different things that apply. However, it sounds to me like based on your address that there is no intention of the town sewering your neighborhood.
And being a brand new development, I also didn't really, I mean, I agree with your language there as well. So it was just a concern of mine, to be quite frankly, like, I'll pay my taxes. I'll do what I need to for anything else. But I mean, $30,000 for some sewers, that just didn't make sense to me. It didn't add up.
I believe the $30,000 number might be a scare tactic. There's a lot of thought and planning that go into sewers, and the recovery costs from the sewer that is put onto the general public is a calculation. And that calculation varies from property to property, where a 2-bedroom house could be $10,000 to $15,000 range, where a 3-bedroom might be the 15 to 20. The 4-bedroom may be 20 to 25. You kind of understand where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I get it.
Right. Businesses will be much more in some cases, and few cases could be much less. So it depends on the current use of the property and what its impact is on the sewer system, and also what the recovery cost is relative to that property. Okay. Some areas of the sewers are more expensive to sewer than other areas in the town. So, one particular neighborhood could be slightly cheaper than another particular area of the neighborhoods, but it all comes down to an assessment. And those assessments aren't given as a single bill for $30,000 that's due. It is similar to a tax bill where it is levied upon the property, and the recovery of that $20,000 or $30,000 is over a 20-year period, over quarterly payments per year. So it's similar to a tax bill. The bill will have a total of, potentially $20,000, however it's applied to your property, but it's due over a 20-year period, 4 payments per year.
Okay. All right, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Got any other questions or comments for us?
No.
All right, thank you.
All right, there's one more that would allow, and I'm bringing in Kate. Kate, please state your full name, spell your last name, and also give your address, please.
Howdy, can you guys hear me?
Hi, Kate.
Hi. So I'm Kate Doster, D as in dog, OSTR. You can see it on the screen. And I own 6 Sand Street. So it's right off of Tioga and all of that funness in Arnold. So my question was very similar to Scott, who was just before me, but we're in a little different situation. So our street, like 2 years ago, yeah, it was right before Christmas, because I'm like, great, no Christmas presents. Got the sewer to come down our street for all 4 houses that we have. So I haven't heard anything from anybody about anything about this sewer situation. In 2017, no, it was 2018, I had called and they had said, and I don't know what the up-to-date info is, that we could be grandfathered in because our septic system was less than 10 years old, because we bought the house at the time it was 5 years ago and now it's been 7. So we fall under that jurisdiction, and that we would have to potentially pay some other type of fine, but that we wouldn't be forced into the sewer. So what I'm looking for here is the giant bill that people are talking about we're going to get. Am I going to get that? When am I going to get that? What is the interest rate? Are you going to force us to tie in? If I don't tie in, can I just pay a fee for still being on our septic? And who do I talk to answer all these questions if you wonderful people can't?
All right, I think I can answer all of them. I just hope
Thanks,
by the time I get through a few of them, I actually remember the question. So
there's a lot. This is the problem for most of the public. Nobody has talked to us literally since 2018 on this street. So we don't know what's happening.
Okay, so sewers were installed on your street
Yep.
a couple years ago.
Yep.
And if your property has sewer service available, you will be getting an assessment.
When?
That is a question for the sewer clerk, because I would imagine that you would have gotten it already. However, if you have a septic, put it this way, as of right now, if your septic is less than 10 years old, that sewer assessment can be deferred for up to 3 more years. So you can do a deferment 10 years from the time your septic was installed. So if it was 8 years ago, at this point, you can defer it for 2 more years.
2013 is when it was installed.
13, so you can defer it up until 2023. However,
assuming that we get our assessment before
it yet, I wouldn't go asking for it if I were you. But we can do some inquiry to figure out if your property has that sewer service available yet. And if by chance it is not available, that would be why you haven't received an assessment. But I kind of believe that Sand Street is ready for service. And I'm just going to defer over to Bruce Hagerman, our town engineer, to see if he can recall that as well.
Yeah, I believe so, but I'll check on it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Those assessments were approved last night at the town council meeting, and Sand Street is part of the Arnold Road assessment that was approved at the current rate. Over the next couple of weeks, there will be notices sent out to all the residents for those assessments from Monique Houle, who is the tax collector / sewer person right now. So they will be going out over the next couple of weeks, and all of those will be issued out as if they're eligible for that 10-year deferment. The additional time will be allowed based on the current ordinance.
Okay, Kate, did you hear that?
Yes.
All right, so what that means is you will be getting a bill fairly shortly.
Okay.
And when you get that bill, you can go down to the sewer clerk and ask for a appeal form. and you can fill out that appeal form, and there is some documentation of your septic system that's needed.
Mhm.
And that appeal form will get to us, and it'll be reviewed, and if everything is suitable, then your assessment will be deferred 10 years from the time it was installed. And if it sounds like that's 2023, in 2023, you will have to start paying that sewer assessment. In addition, the question on the mandatory tie-in, from the time you get that sewer assessment, you have 1 year to tie in. However, a lot of properties in town that hasn't been enforced all that intensely. I know we had a plan to enforce that at one time, but at a minimum, you should be prepared for that 1 year after, 1 year after your 2023 deferral ends, not 1 year from your assessment date.
Mm. So if we choose not to tie in, we still have to pay the assessment fee.
Yes.
Regardless. What if we can't pay it? Do we have to sell the house and move?
No. So you do not have to pay the entire bill up front. It's not a one-time pay bill. It comes in the form of similar to your real estate tax bill. It is payable over a 20-year period, 4 quarterly payments per year.
What's the interest rate?
I believe it is 6%.
That is astronomical.
No. Wait.
Nope, it is. Sir, it is not. It was reduced last year. I believe the current rate is 3 I'm going to say 1.7, but it's in that ballpark. It's the low 3% rate. We're doing a half percentage point over what the town is being charged on an average of all the sewer bonds to do it. So it's 3 and change is what it is. It is no longer the 6%.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to say the last time I heard any about this is when the governor was like, nope, no sewage. And then everyone just shut down and nobody talked because of all of the money-making scheme accusations. So that's why we're trying to figure out what exactly is going on. So if we do decide to end up selling this house, say I decide, screw the appeal thing, whatever. If we sell the house, do the new owners inherit the rest of our bill, or does it have to come out of our closing costs to pay the bill?
The new owners inherit your bill.
Okay. So that's the way that it goes. So, all right.
Yeah.
So there's necessarily not an advantage if we decide to sell. Da, 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 da. Okay. And okay. So you said that it hasn't been enforced that we have to tie in.
Right.
But probably at some point it will. Regardless, yeah. I'm just going over my notes. Regardless if we tie in or not, the house / whoever lives here is still on the hook for paying the 3-point-something% interest on anywhere from a cool 10,000 to 30,000 plus, who knows, of the money. And there is no financial assistance that is being offered from the town to help residents, correct?
No.
Besides charging them the interest.
Incorrect, Kate. There is
Excellent, Ed. Thank you.
There is a sewer assistance fund that was approved last night.
Oh, okay.
It's based on your income versus the assessment versus the assessed value of the property. And you will be notified of all of that once these new assessments go out the door. So you will be advised of all of those acts. How many bedrooms do you have in the house, by the way?
We are a 3-bedroom house.
3-bedroom house and the Arnold Road.
Oh, I do need to tell you one more thing, Ed. I have a home-based business. So technically it's not commercial, but it's a home-based business. So I'm going to toss that in there too. Because I don't know if that affects it.
But your house is not listed as commercial. It's listed solely as residential, correct?
Yeah. But I did file, I pay my cool town taxes on my nothing. I think it's my cell phone because that's what I do it out of. But yes, I did want to be clear.
Off the top of my head, the 3-bedroom assessment on Sand Street, Arnold Road, that whole project was approximately $21,400 or $21,500. for the assessment on a 3-bedroom home. So that's what you would be looking at.
I believe there are some houses on Sand Street that are also on a force main that get the pump credit.
Right. If they've got a pump credit, they'd be $5,000 off of that assessment.
What's a pump credit?
If you're required to use a pump, it's a force main, and you need to basically macerate the waste coming out and force it down the pipe, then the town offers a $5,000 credit because you would need to put a pump in when you do the connection. So that would reduce that down to approximately $16,000 on the assessment.
Gotcha. And that would all be in the mysterious piece of mail we're getting over the couple of days?
Well, a couple of weeks, but yes.
So it will be a no Christmas presents for anybody mailing, just like 2 years ago. Sorry, kids.
No, you
pooped too much. You pooped too much, everybody. Santa's not coming.
You have an additional 3-year abatement, so you can have
That's
Christmas.
true. Oh, do they tack that on top for the 3-year abatement? So it's like, okay, you're still accruing interest for those 3 years that you're not paying?
No, you're not. You're not.
Sweet.
You're not.
Sweet deal. I think that was pretty much all the questions that we had. Oh yeah. So we are going to be forced to tie in. If we don't tie in, is there going to be a fine, or we don't know yet because you guys aren't really enforcing that quite yet? Now that we're planning on avoiding it, I'm just trying to all my cost and all my options out.
So if your deferral is approved, and your assessment will not take place until 2023, your enforcement will not take place until 2024, and at which point any fine or action is totally up in the air between now and 2024. There is a fine and a procedure that's in place. However, like I said, we have not enforced it yet. But when we do enforce it, I'm sure that you'll have a certain time frame where the town will give you a warning that your mandatory tie-in is due. And I don't know what the fine is at this point, but I got to imagine between now and 2024, those regulations could be changed.
Gotcha. So we're looking at a roughly, we'll just call it $22,000 assessment bill, plus our tie-in bill, plus our actual usage bill.
Yes.
Correct. Got it. All right. That was really all the questions that I had.
Okay. Thanks, Kate. Ed, anybody else from the public on?
We only had 2 attendees and both had questions.
Okay. Mike is here, Glenn. Mike is here. I don't know if you want to bring up 97 again.
I make a motion to bring it up.
Where is he?
He's on my screen, Mike Scotia.
Mike, you there?
I don't see him.
Ed, do you see Mike?
I have Mike listed. He doesn't have video on. Mike, can you hear us? He's showing audio is on.
Glenn, call him, tell him put his audio on.
Tell him to bring his volume up. Mike, can you hear me?
Got my fingers crossed, Pat.
Have we tried calling him?
He just texted me. He's trying to turn audio and camera on, and it's not working.
His audio is listed as on. Tell him to make sure his volume is up. Mike, can you hear us now?
Yep, he's having some problems.
Glenn, tell him to dump out and try to come back in.
His screen has gone away a couple of times and come back.
He says he can hear all us guys. So Mike, if you can hear us, jump off the computer and jump back on.
He needs to make sure his mic volume is up as well.
Why don't you just call in?
And he could do that as well, sir.
Now's the time we should all start talking bad about him. Bruce, can you still see him?
He just went off.
So Jen, if you get on the town council, can you stay on this subcommittee?
She can.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not sure the process, but with Greg,
Would be
there's an open
In
council.
fact,
spot.
you would be appointed. You'd be appointed as the council one of the council representatives, and it would open up the quote at large seat.
Okay.
Mike, can you hear us? Mike, can you hear us?
He probably can hear us, but we can't hear him.
Mike, if you know what to do, go into the sound settings and check your mic. Make sure your mic is the correct mic, and make sure the volume on the mic on the pickup is up.
That's a lot of mics in one sentence.
Yeah.
I know. Mike, check your mic. Mike, you also have the ability, there's a phone number there. If you call in, you can do it that way.
Maybe you should update with your computer, Mike. You're still using floppy disk.
Tony, I like the fact that other people know about floppy disks.
Greg, what's your deal with this election? Are you running again, or are you all done?
No, Jen is running for the District 2 seat.
That's why he has a new puppy. It's
Right.
to keep him busy.
I'm unfamiliar with the district numbers. So Greg, you were District 2 or are?
Yep, District 2.
And you're not continuing?
No, nope, I'm not.
What are you going to do with all your time?
Probably paint the house and cut the grass and do a lot of chores that have been undone for a long time.
Oh my.
Greg, why don't you go get your guitar and play some music while we wait for Mike?
Yeah, really. I should do that. Yeah, come over here. Because I'm not ready to say bye-bye, Birdie. Bye.
So Greg, are you going to discontinue the sewer subcommittee as well?
Well, I have to as the council representative, and it will be up to the new council to appoint who they see fit to continue on the sewer subcommittee, right, or new people on the sewer subcommittee. So
when would the new council members take effect? Is that after the first of the year?
It depends when the certification of the elections are. Usually it's by the second meeting in November is when that happens after the election. Usually it takes a week or so to get certified. With this year, who knows if that certification is going to happen by that point. If the Board of Canvassers can't certify the elections by the second meeting, I would think that we just continue on until certification is happens and the new council is sworn in.
Okay. Well, I'm about to give up on Mike.
Yeah, I think as much as I'd love to see you get this in.
Right.
Wait a minute. Hold on. He is now in as an attendee. Hold on.
Oh, I see it. Yep.
Mike, can you hear us?
He's got it muted. Tell him to unmute.
Take your mic off. Unmute your mic, Mike. Wow.
Top screen.
I can't see him anywhere.
Can't you unmute him?
Mike, can you hear us?
Well, he just got it unmute and then he muted it again.
Mike, unmute it. Mike.
All right, I'm calling it.
Okay.
All right, well, before we adjourn, I would like to wish Jen luck in November.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Greg for all his past time as our District 2 councilman.
Thank you, and likewise.
And I will now make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor? I say aye. Tony?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Greg? Ayes have it. Everybody have a good night. Keep your fingers crossed for November election, and we'll see you in a month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.